Hey guys, it's Guye and welcome to episode 1 of Girl Chat. And I just wanted to talk about life before Christ. Well, my life before Christ. Let's start from the beginning. Growing up, I was always the smart one of the family, never the beautiful one. I have a gorgeous younger sister. She is beautiful, and growing up, she would always get the compliments, and I think she could sense it, so she would make me feel better and just tell me that I was beautiful, and I loved her for that. I truly thank her for that. But yeah, growing up, I was really envious of the fact that I was just the smart one. I wanted to be the beautiful one too. I was smart, in short, and whenever people spoke to me, it was about, oh, you're gonna become a doctor or a teacher or just something that used your brains. Basically, I was never the one that people were like, oh, you could be a model, or I guess something on the physical side. And that seed just always grew with me. And so throughout life, I just felt like I had to prove my smartness because that's all I had. I didn't have the beauty, so I had to be smart because that's all I had going for me. And back in the day, I looked at it as a bad thing, but now I'm very thankful because, you can't do anything if you're not smart. But I didn't know that growing up as a little girl. So I did great academically, and my dad was huge in academics, so I did really good in that. But because I never had those words of confirmation or affirmation, someone telling me I was beautiful, I never felt it, and I just kind of looked down on myself because back in the day, I needed validation from humans to tell me that I was beautiful for me to believe it. And so that was a huge part of my life, and that really came into my adolescence. Although people would tell me I was beautiful, I didn't really believe it, and I didn't really understand it because although they said I was beautiful, I was doing some really ugly things. I remember I had a friend in middle school that I used to be not a bully to, but when you have that one friend that throws slick comments at you and they're not necessarily the nicest, well, I was that friend. And I remember I used to just make fun of how she looked, and this girl was beautiful, and honestly I was saying those things out of my own hurt because I didn't feel beautiful, and I felt like if I picked on someone else, then maybe I would at least forget or try not to remember how I was feeling. And so I was not the nicest person, and I look back and I truly feel so horrible for that because I don't blame the girl for never wanting to be around me because I was never nice to her. Yeah, and so that was a huge part of it. And moving forward to like high school, I think I had a boyfriend like every year since freshman year because I didn't feel good enough and I felt alone, and my parents and I really didn't have that great of a relationship, so I didn't talk to them, so I needed somebody to talk to. So I always had a boyfriend or just someone to keep around so that I was not lonely or felt alone. And that played a huge role on me not knowing who I was because I always had to depend on someone else for my happiness and not necessarily myself. And so, yeah, in high school, I really let guys treat me like crap. And when I mean crap, I mean dirt. I never stood up for myself. I just kind of accepted whatever was given to me. And I was not dating guys who had the greatest intention for me or had my best interest at heart. So I just kind of let people use me a lot. And it wasn't until years later that I began to see it as a pattern. So not knowing who I was like the biggest thing that guys honestly saved me from, because from not knowing who I was, I let people mistreat me. I was in toxic relationships. I was insecure. I didn't know that God had anything for me. I'm like, yeah, right. I went to church. I went to youth group, I remember, since the 6th grade until I graduated high school. And in that youth group, I was taught lessons as far as, you know, dealing with people. How do you react to things is 90% of what happens to you is about how you react to it. And so that was something huge. Sorry, just thinking about that, it just kind of brings back emotions. But it's crazy. I guess I'm just looking back and seeing how much things have changed. Give me a moment, I'll gather myself. Yikes. Okay. I thought this would be easy, but it's not. But you know what? And that's the beauty of it. I'm going to keep going. Because I'll say this from me today, because of the things that I went through back then, it has definitely helped me to right now, because I just don't stand up. I don't take crap from people. I don't let someone mistreat me, because most of the time when people mistreat you, they don't mistreat you without your permission. And that was a huge thing. And before Christ, I really never knew how to stand up for myself, never knew how to say no. I was just gullible and naive to everything, and I felt that I had to be liked because I knew who I was, so I felt like I needed to be friends with everyone. And I know it sounds like I'm babbling right now, it's just because I'm just overwhelmed by looking back in the past and looking at today and the difference that, what a huge spectrum. They're like on opposite spectrums. Like, I can't believe that was me back then, but it was. Had to have my tea. But really, when God saved me, He didn't just save me. He saved me from myself. I felt like if I didn't know God when I did in 2013, that I would have self-destruct, honestly. Whether it be like become an alcoholic or just a nasty person or even take my life. Like, it's really harsh for me to say that today, but honestly, that's where I was heading. I was in such a messed up place that I felt like nothing could change it. And you know, like, how could God save me? Because I was listening to what everyone else was saying about me, what they thought of me, and those were my mistakes and my downfalls, and you know, people take advantage of those things. And so I'm like super overwhelmed right now, but honestly, you guys, God is awesome. Whatever it is that you are dealing with, whether it's depression, insecurities, bad relationship, just like leave it up to God. You pray to God and ask Him exactly what you want. I asked for God to take away my fear of loneliness so that I could be able to be alone and be okay with it, and just know that I didn't need a boyfriend, or I didn't need validation from anybody to feel good about myself. And He did that for me. As the years went by, like, I felt more confident in myself, just because I knew that my confidence did not come from the world and it came from God. And so in knowing that, like Jesus had my back and I had nothing to worry about, that made me such a more free person. I'm And I talked about all those things, you know, having a boyfriend, insecurities and all that stuff. But God took those away from me. And I feel like sometimes people don't think Christianity is about those things. It's just about, you know, worshiping and all that. But God takes away real life things. I am telling you, your mindset, your bad habits, swearing, just anything like that, God will remove them from you. And that's just the process of Him preparing you for your purpose. And I know I've steered away from it a little bit, but I'm back. And I know it's all the little things that God uses to show me what my purpose is. And that's why I started my blog. It's called augustblossom.com. When I was first saved and I was really strong in my walk. Although I was a baby Christian, I was just doing it, and even through that, I had my own struggles, and I still learned through them. That blog helped me heal myself, and I helped God heal me in His own way. And He just used the gifts that He gave me, and that is the gift of writing, to kind of look at myself from a different perspective and look at what He's done for me in writing, and that changed me completely. And I think that God can save you from anything, no matter where you're at in life. If you feel like you're unworthy of God's love, or you feel like I am so messed up, there's no way that God can save me or love me, oh honey, He will do it. For people who know me and know who I was back then, I am not the same person. And I wish that for the people who are watching this right now and may not know me, I was a mess. And a mess, I mean, God, a mess. And I'm a mess today, but honestly, it's a different type of mess, because I know who I am, and I know what I stand for, and I know whose I am. And so it's a different type of mess when you're lost and do not know Christ. But I just wanted to just start off by saying, whatever it is you have done, or whatever it is you are doing, whatever it is going to happen in life, God is there for you. You just have to accept Him, and you have to let Him be that for you. You have to just pray. Honestly, there's times where I feel like I'm so far away from God, and all I have to do is just shut everything and just pray, and it changes my whole day. And then I just begin to continue praying and praying and praying throughout the day, and it makes such a huge difference. So before we start anything on this YouTube channel, or before I say anything more, know that God loves you. God can save anyone. It doesn't matter what you've done in your past, what you're doing right now. If you feel unworthy, if you feel unloved, if you're in those bad relationships, if you have broken relationships with your family, God can heal all those things. It just starts with you. It starts with you saying, God, I accept you in my life, and I'm going to let you work, because honestly, He's the creator, and He's the illustrator, He's the writer, He is everything. Although He lets us, stray because of our own will, at the end of the day, God is it. And God is with us daily. And so that's all I'll say for today. I'm nervous to start to do this, but if God's will, He called me to do it, then I'm gonna do it. I can't say no. And if I say no, bad things happen to you when you disobey God, and I'm just not trying to go there. So I'm just gonna speak, say whatever He wants me to say. I'm a very open and transparent person with my mistakes and downfalls, because I've learned that if I don't accept them myself, there's no way I can move past it. So I'm a huge believer in that. So if y'all have any questions about Jesus, feel free to message me, follow me on Facebook, and I'll have all of that in the description box below. Thank y'all, and I will see you guys another day. All right. Bye.